2015, I witnessed my very first death. Now, I had experienced death before, but I had never been with someone as they crossed that threshold. And honestly, it was traumatizing. This man was surrounded by love, though. His family was doing everything right, telling him that they loved him, that it was okay to go, and that they were there. But his body was restless. And I now know he was experiencing something called terminal agitation. This is where the body and the mind can't quite settle. And medically, more could have been done to ease his suffering. But it is what it is. Then he died. And I remember standing there frozen. In the kitchen, his adult children sat in shock. They were shell-shocked, staring blankly into space. In the living room, his wife, now a widow, was helping the hospice nurse clean his body. And then me, caught between two worlds. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. And in that moment, something cracked wide open inside me. I promised myself that what I saw that day would never happen to anyone I loved, not if I could help it. And it set me on a mission to understand the death and dying process, a mission to learn how to show up in those sacred, messy human moments. And that's when I discovered what a death doula is and how death doulas come in. So let's back up for a second. So the word doula means a non-medical professional who aids in medical transitions. Most people first hear the word in the context of birth doulas, those incredible companions who help families and guide them through pregnancy, labor, and birth. Now, death doulas are a mirror of that. We walk people through the other great transition of life, the dying process. We began emerging more visibly in hospice programs, grassroots, death-positive movements, and communities who wanted more choice and personalization at the end of life. Around the 80s is when you started to see more death doulas, but the truth is, we've always been here. In every culture, in every time period, there have always been the keepers of death knowledge. Community members who knew how to sit vigil, prepare a body, comfort the grieving. What's new is the name, and what's new is the demand. Because medical teams, they handle the clinical. Funeral directors, they handle the body after death. The emotional, spiritual, and logistical gaps, they're massive, and that's where death doulas can step in to help. So let's get really clear on this. What exactly is a death doula? Well, we are professional, we are non-medical, holistic, and supportive. We walk alongside individuals and families through the final chapter of life. We are not regulated, and that matters because there's more freedom in how this role looks. It also means families should ask good questions when hiring a death doula. You want to ask about their training, their experience, and their approach. We are not doctors, nurses, or hospice staff. We don't replace medical teams. We are not funeral directors. We don't call the time of death. We don't embalm, and we don't transport bodies. So what do? We support. We hold space. We plan. We educate. We guide. We show up where others can't. And we stay when others leave. So here's what it looks like in practice. I call this the 3 phases of death doula's work. Phase 1 is before death. This is when we do advanced care planning, such as living wills, advanced care directives, and healthcare proxies. We have family meetings about quality of life, not just quantity of life. And we mediate those family meetings about the living wills and the advanced care directives and the healthcare proxies. We offer legacy projects where we record stories, write letters, gather photos. We help plan vigils and rituals. We connect families to resources that they may not have known to exist. Phase 2 is during the dying process. This is where we sit bedside, sometimes in silence, sometimes guiding prayers or songs or rituals, depending on what the family wants or the person wants. We hold presence in the room when everything feels overwhelming. We offer calm, even when the body's process is anything but calm. And we remind families that you don't have to do this alone. Phase 3 is after death. We help support families in those few raw first hours and days, sometimes weeks. We help guide rituals from funeral homes to memorial planning. We preserve legacy projects. We connect families to grief support and resources. And we offer a presence that says, I'm still here, even though your person is gone. From the paperwork to the sacred, we stand in the gaps. So why do we do this? I can't stress this enough. Families are struggling. Medical teams are stretched thin. Hospice is beautiful. They're limited. And still there are emotional, spiritual, and logistical needs that go unmet. And yet, still, there's love in the room that deserves to be honored. Death doulas are an answering to a public call for personalized, human-centered end-of-life care. For someone to say, you don't have to do this alone. For someone to hold the lamp when the path gets dark. This isn't about replacing anyone. It's about filling the gaps, so no one has to walk blind through the most profound threshold of life. And for me, it all circles back to that day in 2015. To standing frozen, caught between the kitchen and the living room, to realizing I didn't know what to say or do, to promising that I had wanted no one that I loved to die like that again. And that's why I became a death doula. And that's why I train others to do this work now too. So when someone asks me, what is a death doula? Here's what I tell them. We're non-medical professionals who aid in the greatest transition of your life. We are companions. We are guides, witnesses. We're not here to take over. We're here to walk beside. And if you feel something stir in you as you hear this, maybe it's because you've always known that you were meant for this work. And that's why I created the course, Become a Death Doula. It's a training that I wish I had when I started. I blend practical skills, real-world case studies, the sacred heart of this work, and also some ways that you can make this a sustainable business. So if you want to learn more, the link is in the description. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear from you. What did you think a death doula is or isn't? Share in the comments. Let's open up this conversation together. But until next time, be good to yourself. Bye.